Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Arcadian Path 4x6. I painted this yesterday, and I'm really pleased to bring it to your attention today, and we'll try and impart some ideas about what I did here, and let's go. So, we're working on MDF, and it's been prepped with 3 good solid coats of house paint, which are matched to a chip I found at the paint store. That's kind of umbery with a little red in it. I love it. It's called Deep Earth, and it's my ideal ground color. I'll be probably working on this for, I don't know. It would never say forever. That could be a song, eh? Never say forever. I should write that down. Anyway, I do some music too. Um, yeah, so you see me doing the underpainting here, and now the reference image you can't see here, but if you're curious about that, and it looks pretty cool, in the members area video, which is a live, real-time version of this painting session, I always attach at the beginning of each video a really good example of the reference image, so check that out if you're interested. That's $6 a month, US, and YouTube gets half. Which, God bless you, YouTube. Thank you for supporting me and hosting my videos. I appreciate it. Now, this, speaking of the reference image, well, before I get into that, we are painting with per number here, so you can watch me do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the reference image. I started with a reference image that was kind of based on a master's painting, but I ended up manipulating it so extensively that it really doesn't at all anymore. But one of the things that survived was sort of this interesting tree shape, and also the kind of backlit quality, and I'm really pleased with how I got that idea across here. Now you can really overplay the backlit thing, so you want to be careful with it, keep it subtle. At least that's my view. uh, Speaking of the underpainting process, I'm always passing this tip on to people in the members area because they're watching me paint in real time. So, but a good one for you too. Uh, the tree holes in your trees is really it can be a real deal breaker. If you have too many tree holes, your tree will come off like Swiss cheese, and I still make this mistake even to this day. A great solution, though, is to basically come up with the overall shape of the tree and have it just all filled in solidly. And then use a swab to kind of carve out a few tree holes. And this will give you a far better approach. So there's a tip right there for you, free of charge. I hope you use it and enjoy it. Okay, now getting into the painting session. If you've been with me any time at all, after the drawing we do the sky. In this case, I did the drawing in the morning, and then I pre-mixed some paints, and then I came in to do the painting in the afternoon. I think this is a great way to work, especially you got those pre-mixed paints sitting on the bench waiting for you. So if you're tempted, as I am today, I'm at home doing other things. But I knew I was going to do that, and I did a painting, a drawing this morning, and it's sitting there waiting for me tomorrow. Yeah. From there, you want to get the sky in first, and the real strong reason for that is because it's behind all the other shapes. So to get that feeling of depth is going to be a lot easier with those colors in place. Also, the one of the real challenges with landscape painting can be how your tree, your tree coming up into the sky is interacting with the sky, which is a problem that I've solved because I have a very good plan in place with my underpainting about how the painting is going to proceed. So from there, it's really just a matter of painting the sky, then painting the tree, and addressing the edges. And I will say a good tip for you there too is like these edges, the edges where the tree is, and if you're a painter, you know what I'm talking about. The edges where the tree is interacting with the sky, those are the toughest edges in your painting, no question about it. There's a lot of different strategies. The worst strategy is to do the smearing thing. Don't do that. A better strategy is the one I call, I guess, the grabbing technique, where I just kind of use bits of the stray hairs of the end of the brush, um, and they grab up into the sky that's been painted. Also, you'll notice that the edges of the sky coming up to the tree, I always keep them a little bit loose and kind of ragged. That's a big tip for you there. And of course, it'll take some practice to get good at that. Another good tip, and we got an ad for the book coming up, so I'll get into that tip after the book because it's pretty substantive, I think. Let's just start talking about the book. We shipped out some books this week, and I'm so thrilled to send it to you anywhere on the planet. It was it was a labor of love, and took quite a while to put together. And what it contains is, my take on how to paint in a tonalist manner. It's really sort of how-to. And if you're looking for that kind of information, all in one easy to access and consistent resource, then buy the book. $60 US, international shipping included. And I say consistent because everything in the book I've covered in a video somewhere, but how are you going to find it? Anyway, the additional sort of edge technique, and don't sleep on this one. This is really good to use, especially if you're feeling like you're not getting a good result, and that is to go ahead and mix, say, an intermediate color. So we've got a tree which is going to have some like dark greens or greens coming up and meeting the sky. One thing you could do if you needed to was mix a color mix that green color and incorporate a little bit of the sky color into it, and then just paint some of those middle areas in. Now, what you don't want to do is just a big fat stroke around. You obviously want to dance around with the brush a bit, but this can be very helpful, and it's very very helpful, I will say, with like you said, we've got this like distant ridge of hills in the background. That's a really great technique for when hills and things meet the sky. In fact, I will say much better than on trees, although what I would recommend is if you feel that your edges aren't quite doing it, then take the time to use that mixing an intermediate color tip. You won't regret it because it will help sell the painting. And by sell the painting, I don't mean sell it in a gallery, although that could be the case too. But sell the effect. You're looking for that effect of air. And one of the greatest artists of all time um, really brought this sort of thing to us as modern landscape painters, and that was Camille Corot. His whole technique involved successive iterations of color from the mass of the trees into the sky. And I've seen his work in real life at the Louvre in Paris, and you'll see he painted intermediate strokes, and he's a master of getting that feeling of air into the trees. Now, since his innovation, of course, we take it for granted. We all kind of use these sort of techniques, but he was really the first. If you look at even someone great like Constable, who was really amazing at drawing and painting trees, wasn't as good at getting that feeling of air into him as Camille. Camille, that was his main innovation, and thank you, Camille, for that, wherever you may be. Okay, you can see I did just paint this background hills in, and if you've been with me for any time at all, we paint the sky, and then I treat the sky as its own thing, and then as far as the landforms go, I then work with the darkest areas in the landform and paint successively till I'm getting to the lightest tones, which are going to meet the sky. And not in every case. And one tip I'm always passing on to people in the members area, because they're, like I said, they're with me in real time, is to really watch out for. So let's say you've got your tree, your mass, and there's a lighted up edge, right? What we can do is because we're humans, is we can end up creating a sort of halo effect around the entire edge of the tree, and that looks fake, it looks amateurish, it looks bad. And the solution that I've found for that is that I will intentionally just bring some of the darkest darks up to certain areas of the tree so that I won't have a one uniform halo running around that entire edge. And that's a lot of good tips and tricks in this video. Hopefully some of you are tuned in and are digging it. And I recommend that if you are, after you finish watching this video, you're feeling inspired, hopefully, go turn off the computer and sit down at your area where you like to paint and make some kind of painting, okay? Yeah, you can't be a painter without making paintings, and the sense of worth and value that you will feel afterwards will be totally worth it. You maybe not thinking that right now because you're in the process of avoiding working, but when we get over that and actually start doing work, it always feels amazing. It's really one of the best feelings that you can have, and I'm absolutely addicted to it. I'm addicted to making beautiful paintings, and I hope to never stop. My ideal would be the day I die, that I go to the studio, I'm working on a painting, I'm just about done, and then that's when God takes me, right then and there, brush in hand, and I would die a happy man. Yeah. Okay, so you can see we've worked in some greens into the masses. Everything's a bit dark, and I'm kind of bringing about different aspects of the painting together. Now I want to talk about the ridge of trees in the back, and maybe you noticed when I was doing all my darks, it would have been real easy to just go into that area with the darker paint, but I always make a real effort to. And what I did here was I took some of the dark paint and I had a little bit of the color on my palette I call Mike's Gray, which is a mixture of ivory black and titanium white. I added some of that. I had a little bit of yellow ochre and a few other things to give you a more muted tone for the background. Yeah, and that's important because you want to get that feeling of air and distance into your painting. If the background shapes are too dark, it's not going to look good. And you really want to watch out because your reference photos a lot of times will lie to you in that regard. They will portray a lot of values in the painting, especially the distance, as being darker than they really should be. So always make sure that you have a care there, and that you go in and in this case I purposefully made it a bit lighter, as I did the smoky greens, and that's a word you'll hear me use a lot as I'm painting, is smoky, and that's just the color that would have less saturation, less intensity, mostly less darkness too. Yeah. Okay, you can see I'm coming in with the highlight color now, and that's like the real payoff. And because I'm doing that, I didn't want to have a big spread of middle tones in the body of the tree itself, although I am bringing in some now, judiciously around the edges and in other places. And of course I'm looking at the reference image, and what I'm doing is informed by that, but I'm not being a slave to it. And I guess that's another thing I might want to point out is just use your reference image as inspiration. Don't get into the weeds with trying to be a human version of a camera, okay, that uses oil paint instead of, emulsions on film, or emulsions on paper utilizing film. You don't want to do that. You want to have some inspiration, and that inspiration is really, really critical to you creating a successful painting. No question about it. It really is. And I've talked about reference extensively here, and I'm always working to make my reference images really awesome and cool. So much so that some of them could definitely pass as art on their own, but they're not. I am the final arbiter of what is and is not art relating to my process, and that process is to incorporate the reference image as an inspirational device, but the most important thing is to express yourself with paint on your board. And that is going to be 100% unique. And no matter how clever or creative something inside the computer or the box is, it's always going to be a bit flatter. There's nothing like using your hand, a brush, real paint on a real board, and creating a real artifact in the real world. And that's going to become increasingly important as we have the AI creating lots of beautiful art. And just keep it in mind. It's a great reason for you to paint, and it's a great reason for you to develop yourself as a painter. Anyway, that's it for this middle of the week video. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And until I come back with another video for your edification, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid, take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family. Fight to power.